I'm not the kind of person who forgets things. I'm not one to leave my keys in the fridge or go to work in different socks. I check my pockets. Twice. I set reminders. I duplicate everything in the cloud. I'm a nerd. A pedant. Especially when it comes to my phone. It was a normal Tuesday. Office. Zoom meeting. Lunch in a container. Rain outside the window and other people's laughter behind a thin wall. I was taking the subway home. Same as always, headphones in my ears, music in the background, phone in my right hand, finger lazily flipping through the tape. The train shook, I almost lost my balance. I instinctively grabbed the handrail. My hand shook. And that was it. In the moment between one stop and the next, I no longer held the phone. I got off at the 42nd Street station. Crowded as usual. Smelled like wet clothes, metal and bad coffee. And then there was a pop in my head. I fumbled in my pocket. Empty. Quick U-turn. Back. I can't get back in the car. The train's gone. I froze, looking at the tail of the departing train. As if I could do something. As if I could shout and the train would return. It was night on the surface. A fine rain beat in my face. I stood under the visor and tried not to panic. In my head, calculating. The device is locked. Face ID on it. iCloud is active. Location. I'm trying it through my laptop, offline. It's like someone turned it off immediately. I went to the nearest station anyway, filed a report. Said where, when, model. The policeman nodded boredly. If anyone turns it in, we'll call. He won't write down the number. Won't remember me tomorrow. It's just a formality. The next morning I bought a new cell phone. Not the most expensive one. Temporary. New SIM. New passwords. Synchronization with the cloud. Almost everything's back. Almost. But not everything. Some notes didn't load. Some of my photos are missing. Not critical, but annoying. I reported it at work. My coworkers joked. Be happy you don't have a wallet. Now's your chance to start fresh. I smiled. But inside, everything was trembling. Something wasn't resting. A couple of days later, I got a call from Amelia, the neighbor across the hall. We didn't talk much. Sometimes we crossed paths at the mailboxes. Thomas, are you okay? She asked. Yeah. Why? You didn't look your usual self when I saw you yesterday. It was like. Not you. I didn't see you. Exactly. I didn't pay much attention. Little things, weird lighting, fatigue, paranoia. All of it. But at night I couldn't sleep for a long time. Staring at the ceiling. I drew the word calm on the sheet with my finger. Again. 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 It's been a week. I'd almost forgotten about the phone. I'd resigned myself to it. Until Saturday morning when I opened the mailbox. Inside was a box. Small. Gray. No writing. No stamps. No name. No logo. Just a box. I picked it up. It's light. No ringing. No rustling. Back at the apartment, I carefully opened it. Inside was my old cell phone. The same one. It's intact. Charged. It's like, it never disappeared. The screen lit up when I touched it. My screensaver. My icons. Even the very photos I hadn't uploaded were still there. The first feeling was relief. The second was anxiety. Who returned it? Why in the mail? Who knows my address? I sat down at my desk. I opened the gallery. The first photo is mine. The last one was a screenshot from the subway the day I went missing. And then there are new images. They weren't there before. I didn't take them. It's in the recent folder. The date is 2 days after I went missing. Fingers frozen on the screen. Dark room. Gray walls. A chair in the center. No windows. The next photo is of a man, tied up, face obscured. Camera flash bounces off a balding head. Next, same man. Unmoving. A stain on the floor. Last photo. Sleeping. Taken from outside. Through the window. On the window is the reflection of the lamp from my bedroom. I recognize that light. The photo is of me, asleep. My arm hanging off the bed. Next to me on the nightstand is a new cell phone. The photo was taken, this week. I jumped up. I closed the blinds. Checked the windows. Locks. The intercom tapes blank. Nothing. But someone was there. Someone was watching. I was sitting on the floor with my phone in my hands. Sweating, even though it was cold. There was one thing pulsing in my head. Someone had watched me sleep. And left this photo inside my phone. I thought I'd lost my phone. But I think I lost control of my life. Someone gave me the device back. But along with it, someone else's gaze. Someone's watching. Someone's there. And it's just beginning. I've revisited the photos 10 times in a row. Maybe 20. Every detail. Every glow. Every shadow on the floor. I tried to find proof that it was a montage, a fake, some goddamn deep fake. But everything was too real. The camera angle. The glare on the window. The stain on the windowsill, I'd recently put it there myself with a mug. It couldn't have been a fake. At first I thought, the police. Of course. We should go. But then I thought, what do I say? Hello. I got my cell phone back, and there's a dead body and I'm asleep. What are they gonna do? Call a psychiatrist. I sat down in the kitchen. My eyes wouldn't blink. My fingers were shaking. I could hear my own heartbeat like a drum. All that night I didn't sleep. Every rustle felt like footsteps. Every car outside the window, surveillance. Every movement of the curtain was a breath behind the glass. I closed the blinds everywhere. I put the phone in the drawer. And I lay down with a knife under my pillow. What an idiotic, banal, but human reaction. In the morning, I checked the phone. Nothing new. But one photo is gone. The one of me sleeping. I was sure it was there. I swore to myself it was the last one I saw. Now it's gone. I went through every folder. System, hidden, temporary. It's empty. Someone deleted it. I reset the phone to factory defaults. Didn't transfer anything back. No old accounts. No galleries. It was clean. But the feeling didn't go away. Amelia called again in the evening. Are you okay? Her voice was cautious. Why do you ask? This morning, while I was walking out to my car, someone was standing in your driveway. Did you see a face? No. He was wearing a black jacket, hoodie. Just stood there. Turned around when I came out and walked away fast. I was silent. Thomas, is something going on? If I tell you, you'll think I'm going crazy. Tell me anyway. I called her to me. We sat down in the kitchen. I told her everything, about the subway, about losing my phone, about the package, about the pictures. She didn't say anything. Sometimes she nodded. Sometimes she frowned. When I finished, she said, I believe you. I was surprised. You don't think I'm paranoid? Maybe paranoid. But not without reason. She pulled a paper envelope out of her pocket. I found this on my doorstep this morning. Inside was a single photograph. Amelia's. Taken through the window of her apartment. She's in the kitchen, slicing an apple. Underneath the photo is a caption. You're in the frame. Next move is yours. I didn't know what was scarier, the fact that there were two of us, or that it was no longer an accident. We sat in silence. Then I said, we should go to the police. She nodded. Do you think they'll believe it? They should. We walked together. The precinct wasn't the busiest. A young officer took us in. I showed the box, the pictures, told the whole story. Amelia confirmed hers. He nodded. Boring. Mechanical. When I finished, he said. That sounds strange. Are you sure someone isn't playing a prank on you? Maybe friends, challenges in TikTok. There's a dead person in the picture, I said. Are you serious now? He shrugged. Still need proof. Where did the photo come from? Who's the author? Where was the picture taken? I clenched my fists. What, do you want the next picture to be of my dead body? He didn't answer. 40 minutes later, the detective showed up. Gray-haired, with a tired face. Name on his name tag was Howell. He asked us to tell the story again. We did it again. Again. This time, he listened more carefully. When we got to the last photo, he frowned. There was a similar incident in New Jersey a year ago. What happened? Amelia asked. A man found his lost cell phone by the door. Inside, a photo of an empty apartment. Then a picture of himself. 3 days later, he was gone. Did you find him? No. Not a trace. I asked. Who does that? Howell didn't answer immediately. There's a hypothesis. Some kind of group. We don't know how they choose their victims. But the mechanism is the same. So what do I do? I asked. You're already in the game. You've received a gift. You are now a host. I didn't understand. What does it mean to be a carrier? It's like a signal. Like a mark. They've chosen you. And until you make a move, they're watching. A move? Yes. An answer. Either one. A walkout. A strike. A signal. If you stay where you are, they'll get closer. And the police? He shrugged. You can stay. Hope. Or disappear. Before they say their final snap. He made a gesture with his fingers, as if taking a picture. I stepped outside. Amelia beside me. The city was bustling, living, breathing, as usual. But I knew, it wasn't like that now. They're already near. Finale of Part 2. I got my phone back. But with it are someone else's eyes. Someone's playing, someone is waiting for my move. But I'm not a player. I don't know how to win. But it seems like you can't just walk away from this game anymore. I noticed for the first time how the sound of dripping water can resemble the click of a shutter. And how a window slightly ajar in the kitchen could look like an invitation. Ever since Howell had said the word host, things had changed for me. Now I wasn't just living. I felt like I was breathing at someone else's pace. The pictures were gone. I reset my phone. But the memory remained. And every day it became clearer, they were waiting. They didn't act immediately. They watched. Amelia went away for the weekend, to her parents' house. She asked me to go with her. I refused. I don't know why. Maybe because I knew in my heart that you can't run away. You are not found. You're chosen. And until you answer, you're in the game. Saturday, I woke up to a knock. 2 short knocks. Pause. 1. I knew it wasn't the mailman. I looked out the peephole, nothing. I opened the door, no one in the hallway. But downstairs, under the door, there's a flash drive. Unsigned. No packaging. Black, plain black. Like everything in this story, faceless. I turned on the laptop. Plugged in the flash drive. Opened the folder. 3 videos. All without sound. No titles. Just numbers, 001, 002, 003. I clicked on the first one. 001.mp4. Camera shakes. The room is empty. Gray. The same walls as in the photo. There's a chair in the middle. Nothing happens for 45 seconds. Then the door opens. Someone comes in. A bound man. A man. Eyes taped shut. Mouth gagged. He's sitting in a chair. The camera doesn't move. You can't hear anything. Video cuts out. 002.mp4. Same man. He's no longer moving. His head is tilted to the side. There's a strange imprint on his neck, like a handprint. There's a shadow on the floor. Someone standing behind the camera. The last 5 seconds, a flash. It's the same moment in the frame as the cell phone photo. Now I knew it wasn't staged. It was real. 003.mp4. Dark room. The camera is on the windowsill. Filming through the glass. Sleeping. Same side as before. Only now, the camera isn't static. It zooms in. Gradually zooming in on my face. The last frame, my eyes open. Black screen. I push the laptop away. There's a lump in my chest. It's hard to swallow. They were out the window. Then closer. Now by the bed. I didn't remember waking up. But, does that mean anything? I grabbed my keys, went outside. Inhaled. The frosty air burned my throat. I walked. No destination. No route. Just, away from where someone was already standing too close. I crawled into the coffee shop on the corner. Sat by the window. Bought tea. Pretended to drink it. Suddenly, a call. A hidden number. I didn't answer. A minute later, another one. Another. 5 calls in 10 minutes. On the 6th, I answered. Silence. Noise. A quiet voice. Did you see the tape? I didn't speak. My breath hitched. You're already in history, Thomas. You've become a part of it. That's not a threat. It's a fact. What do you want? I squeezed out. You asked a question. That's already a move. Now wait for the next one. A click. The rebound signal. I sat as if paralyzed. They weren't talking like enemies. Not like maniacs. They spoke like authors. Like I was an episode in a TV show. Where they are the writers. The next day, Amelia came back. I didn't want to involve her. But she said. I have a flash drive, too. Under the door. One file. A video. What's on it? She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered. In the shower. Filmed through the crack in the door. I closed my eyes. They're already inside. We went to the police station again. Detective Howell wasn't there. The others, listened, nodded, took notes. Then they let us go. No security. No protection. Shrugged. It's troubling, but so far we have no criminal record. We went home. And started packing. Not like in the movies, panicked, in the rain. But in silence. Quickly. Like it was an evacuation. I left 2 hours later. Different city. New address. New room. Amelia to another state. We agreed not to contact each other. Not to be seen. Just disappear. The last thing I did in the apartment was put the phone in the sink. And smashed it with a hammer. Glass. Metal. Shards. Clicks. Flashes. Like erasing the observer's face. Part 3 finale. I thought the phone was just a thing. But it became eyes. Ears. A key. Someone was looking at me through the screen. And then without it. Now I don't sleep by the window. I don't wake up suddenly. Because I know they're still there. Even if you think you've turned it off. I've always considered myself rational. Too rational. A technician, a logician, a skeptic. When my friends talked about signs or hunches, I'd chuckle. But ever since I got that phone back, it's been harder to chuckle. Now I knew, sometimes what seems like a coincidence is actually an invitation. For the first week after I escaped, I didn't sleep a single night. In the new city, I rented a small apartment, as anonymous as possible, no online reservations. Paid cash. SIM card with no name. No social media, no ordering in my own name. I thought that was enough. I was sure if I left no trace, they wouldn't find me. I was wrong. Monday morning, I stepped out of the shower and found a white envelope on the doormat. No address. No stamp. Just my new name, handwritten. One that no one else knew yet. I froze. My hands trembled when I opened it. Inside was a single photo. Me, standing at a bus stop in the evening, a few days ago. The point of view was from the car, from behind the glass. On the back was a caption. You're in the shot. Your next move is yours. That evening, I sat on the kitchen floor, clutching the photograph. Amelia wasn't around. She lived in another city. We hadn't corresponded. Sometimes I remembered her, and wondered if I should write to her. But every time, a voice inside said, if they found you, they'll find her. I started putting the cameras up again. This time, not just by the door, but in every room. I put in alarms. I wrote down emergency contacts on paper. I even hid a tape recorder under my pillow in case the voice spoke again. Every step became part of the paranoia. Every shadow on the wall was like breathing down my back. I decided to check the flash drive Detective Howell had once given me. He'd copied all the files from my phone onto it. I turned it on. It still had the same entries. But there was a new folder. Titled, Reactions. It contains a montage of my actions. As I read the letter. Turning around in the street. How I get out of my seat. How I set up the camera. I was being filmed. After I'd already left. It wasn't surveillance. It was editing. Someone was making a movie. Starring me. One evening I heard a knock on the door. Two short ones, pause, one. The same rhythm. I didn't open it. I lurked. Breath in my throat. 5 minutes later, a call to the landline phone I had set up, just in case. I picked it up. Silence. Then a click. A phrase. You're in now. Don't fake it. And out again. The next morning, I went to the police station. Different precinct. Different faces. I showed the photo, the flash drive, the records. The officer, tall and tired, said. This is strange. But you haven't violated anything, you haven't been hit or robbed. It's not even a threat. I asked. Then what is it? That's an invasion of privacy. That's harassment. He shrugged. Anonymous material. No addressee. You don't know who they are, neither do we. What do you want, security in case you get a postcard again? I walked out, clutching the flash drive in my fist. It was useless. That same day, in my mailbox, a new envelope. Inside, a screenshot of the page. On the screen, my apartment. Right now. Page title, live_feed_34. It was live. I rushed home. Turned on the router. Checked the network. Hacked in. External device connected. I ripped out the cable. Unplugged everything. It's too late. They've been watching for a long time. I realized this wasn't just an observation. It was an experiment. They weren't just watching, they were waiting for a reaction. They were recording how afraid I was. How I hide. How I snapped. They didn't want control. They wanted a story. And I'm an actor without a script. I drove to the edge of town. I checked into a cheap motel. No cameras. No Wi-Fi. Just a key and a lock. I tried to remember everything that had happened. The subway. The phone. Photo. The voice. You're in the shot. And suddenly I realized, it's not about me. It's about someone looking further away. What if this is all a test? What if there are others like me? What if someone else is getting points for behavior? I remembered the man in the gallery, dead. In the photo, in the video. And he might have been a player, too. And just, didn't pass. I had a dream last night. I'm standing in a white room. A chair. A camera. Voiceover. The next move is yours. I wake up in a sweat. No one outside the window. But I knew. They hadn't left. Just gave me time to think. Part 4 finale. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I know I was chosen. Not as a victim. Not as an enemy. But as someone to watch. Someone is watching. Someone is writing a story. And I'm inside. And now it looks like it's my turn to make a move. The only question is, what will it be? At some point, fear ceases to be acute. It becomes a landscape. The backdrop against which you build a life. I moved north, closer to the water. An invisible city with no landmarks. I rented a place through an acquaintance, not in my own name. Got a job fixing appliances in a private shop. People don't ask for anything. Not even a name. I'm David now. And maybe it's better that way. At first, I was waiting for them to show up. That there would be a flash drive again, a letter, a picture from the window. But nothing happened. The silence lasted a week. Then 2. Then a month. And I began to think, maybe that was it. Maybe I'd broken free. I allowed myself a weakness, I started falling asleep with the curtains open. I stopped checking my mailbox with a glove. I deleted tracking programs from my laptop. Sometimes I'd even catch myself thinking, what if I'm making this up? But then one night. Cold, quiet. I was coming home, and in the semi-darkness of the entryway, I saw a sticker on the door. A regular one. White. Rectangular. It had a picture on it. It's of me. On the subway. The day I lost my phone. Signed, you made your move. Now it's ours. I ripped it off with a trembling hand. The next day, a note in the mailbox. Paper. Trimmed unevenly, as if torn from a notebook. Handwritten. You can change your name. But not the frame. You will always remain part of the story. I started putting the cameras back up again. But not for safety. It was to prove to myself that I was still in it. That I wasn't crazy. That it was real. Sometimes I see them. In the crowd. In the reflection of shop windows. The same silhouette that once stood outside my window. He doesn't approach. He doesn't wave. Just stares. Sometimes it walks away, like it's disappearing into the crowd. Sometimes he follows me for a couple more blocks and then he's gone. I came home one day and found a piece of paper on the floor. Not a letter. Not a photograph. Just a blank sheet. White. Perfectly clean. But when I ran my finger across it, it left a mark. Heat-sensitive paper. I held it to the fire. And the text appeared. Right. I get it. Now they want me to start. They want me to be the one who writes it down. At first I was reluctant. Then I started taking notes. For myself. For the police. For my future self. But with each new note, I felt. I was being pushed. Not threatened. Not blackmailed. Provoked. One day, a man came into the studio. He looked ordinary. Asked me to fix his hard drive. Said there were some important family photos inside. After he left, I decided to check it out. Just to make sure. The drive was empty. Except for one file. Video_005.mp4. It's surveillance footage. Someone walking down the street. In the rain. Bag over the shoulder. Head down. That's me. The file was called "The Night You Thought It Was Over." I deleted everything. Closed the workshop for the day. I came home. I sat down at my desk. And for the first time in months, I printed out a photograph. The same one. The gray room. With the chair. Taped it to the wall. Signed it. This is where it started. It won't end here. I started writing again. Not as a storyteller. As an observer. I recorded not just events, but my reaction to them. Panic. Numbness. Anger. Laughter. Emptiness. I felt like this was my backlash now. Maybe they were expecting me to disappear. To be afraid. To give up. Or maybe it was the other way around, that at some point I would turn into a creator. I kept a notebook labeled Recures. In it are all the dialogues. Places. The figures in the reflection. Voices. Symbols. The days when they disappear. Nights when they come closer. I didn't know why I was doing it. But I felt it was necessary. 3 months later, I received a letter. The envelope was heavy paper. Inside was a single sheet. On it are my own words. A quote from the diary I wrote in April. If one day I stop seeing them, it doesn't mean they're gone. It might mean I've become part of their cell. I didn't panic. I just sat down at my desk. Opened a new file. And started writing next. I lost my phone. I got it back. With pictures of someone else's game. And then with pictures of my life. Now I know, I didn't lose it. I got an invitation. And since then, I haven't lived. I've been watching. And observed. This is a game. It's not a dream. It's not paranoia. It's a recording. And you, reader, are in the frame, too. You just don't know what minute you're on yet.